For the Sound and Fury assignment, I found this very interesting because my best friend is deaf and she has actually shared a lot of her experiences with me. So when I did this experiment with the cotton balls, I really found myself putting myself in her shoes, what she would have gone through and how she would have responded in certain situations when we were around. I've done a couple of experiments before with listening underwater because that's how she has explained to me how it sounds to her. So when I first did it, what did you find most difficult with your experience of hearing loss? I found that I missed out on a lot of the conversation, especially with my children. They became very frustrated because they thought I wasn't listening to them when in fact I just couldn't hear them. And so to me, that was what was the most difficult, was missing out on key parts of conversations. The second question is, how did your family and friends and strangers treat you when you were wearing the earplugs or cotton balls? Was this different than usual? Yes. My kids were like, Mom, what are you doing? Do you have an ear infection? Because my son gets ear infections and we put cotton balls in his ears. And I said, no, I'm just doing an experiment as if I was deaf. How would I hear? What would I be like? They, as I stated in the previous question, became frustrated with me because they thought I wasn't listening to them or I was ignoring them. And then I found that once they understood what I was doing, they were trying to yell at me. They were trying to get real close and talk to me. And I found myself relying on reading their lips and their cues and really becoming more conscious of my other senses. The third question is, how did you feel during and after your experience? During my experience, I understood how extremely difficult it was, but that my other senses were stronger. And so with that, I felt it was really eye-opening and interesting to see the difference. And I felt frustrated that I couldn't always hear and that I missed out on conversations and that my kids were frustrated and that it was just an extremely different situation to be in. The fourth question is, well, first of all, before I go to that, how did I feel after? I felt very humbled and very grateful to be able to hear, and I felt normal again. And I know that sounds awful and I shouldn't put it that way, but to me, hearing is normal. The fourth question is, do you feel differently about people who have a hearing loss now than you did before the experience? As I stated before, my best friend is deaf, and so her and I have had in-depth conversations about it, and I respect them, but I think sign language is such a beautiful language and that everyone should learn it, and especially if you have a non-hearing child as a parent, you should hear it. You should learn it. And so I don't feel differently about them. I just respect them as I respect everybody and their differences. Then the final question after watching the Sound and Fury video is, if I were born with a hearing loss, would I want to have a cochlear implant? And my answer is yes, I would, because I don't know any different now than hearing, and if I wasn't hearing, then I would struggle with that. So I would want to learn ASL and want my family to learn ASL and to really experience everything, but I would want to have a cochlear implant. Thank you.